Redneck Garage. I'm out here working on the Jeep again, finally, and I'm working on something that turned out to be a really nasty, gross looking mess, and that's the skid plate over the gas tank. So let's take a look at what I had to do to get this cleaned up so we can continue on with the lift kit, getting this thing ready to move over to my other shop. If I wanted to drive it, I couldn't because I have the steering wheel off. Don't want to mess that up. To put a new leather cover on, and that's going to be another video that's coming up. Hopefully it will look amazing if I don't jack it up. Yuck. This is the before of the frame that I'm going to start cleaning up on. You can see those mounts are just janked up there and there. Those are terrible. Got a rust through on the skid plate on the gas tank, so I've got some work cut out for me on this. Well, Well, that certainly isn't very pretty, is it? I got some rust issues on this. I do have a rough country skid plate that could cover this, but I need to make sure structurally this isn't in really bad shape, so I got to take it off. We're missing some bolts up here on the front. So anyway, I'm going to probably coil these where the bolts are and see if we can get them to loosen up. Nice. Well, that skid plate came out okay, the two top bolts and the one on the frame, but you can see that where it attaches to the skid plate, there wasn't anything there, it just fell out. So there's obviously some pretty good damage on the skid plate. This bolt loosened up good, and the back one is. I think I've got one or two more bolts. As soon as I get those off, I'll be able to take it off and examine what's wrong with it. Well, I got all the bolts loosened up, and you can see that the gas tank's trying to fall. I got one bolt in on the other side. I'm going to put a jack underneath it and see if I can figure out a way to hold the tank while I get the guard off of it. So exciting. Alright, I couldn't just leave this. It was eating me up. So I came home from work. It's gotten late at night, but I was able to take a strap and slip it underneath the skid plate, crank it up, and then drop the skid plate up from underneath it. So I was able to hold up the gas tank and drop the skid plate out from underneath it. So that was super cool. Here's a factory skid plate. You can see that it's pretty rough right here in the center, and that's where that salt just went down in there and sat and ate it out. Right there where that hole is, it's where the bar connects one of the main holders going across. So if I am going to reuse it, I'm going to have to weld in a piece of metal here to hold that bolt in. But as far as like the skid plate itself, it's not really damaged too much. And I've got a rough country plate right here that's going to cover it, so I think I can reuse this. These stinking things here are $500. $500 freaking dollars. So can I spend a little bit of time on it for 500 bucks? You dang right I can. 500 bucks makes me motivated to repair this one, get some good paint on it so it doesn't rust out again, and just weld me in a plate. So that's kind of what I'm going to do with this, unless somebody drops one off in my front yard. Alright, I put the bolts down in the Evapo Rust, which is the best rust remover for like bolts and things like that. And we'll just let them sit and see how that comes out. Here's one side of the skid plate on the opposite of the gas tank, and it's not in bad shape. This is the bolt that came out of the gas tank skid plate. So I've got to get this off, clean it up, paint it. This thing will be ready to put back on, no problem. In the past, I really have liked the Eastwood Rust Encapsulator paint, but they've been out of it for so dang long, I've bought something different. So I'm going to put some on one side and put the new stuff on the other, and we'll take a look at it. Alright, I cut the metal back and cleaned it up as much as possible. Oh man. Alright, so I cut the metal back here in the middle where it was the worst and rusted out. And I've got it cut back to about this bar stock here. So I'm going to put this bar in there and then weld it in like that. And then cut it off, and then the hole will be here, and it'll hold that bracket on. And I think that'll be just fine for the life of the Jeep that I'm going to own it. Underneath where I'm welding, I went ahead and put some rust neutralizer, and that'll convert that over to metal, and get rid of the rust. It'll turn it black, and then I'm able to weld it in there and then coat the crap out of it with some rust preventing paint. Now remember, all of this is going to be covered up by the new skid plate from Rough Country over there. This is definitely some nasty guerrilla welding. You know, it is really ugly, but it's probably pretty strong. That plate didn't go anywhere. I'm going to put the Rough Country plate over the top of it to show you what it will look like, and I think we're going to be just fine. I got to do some rust treatment on it, especially on the inside. We'll take a look at that. But as far as like the mounting plate for the other skid plate, this should be just great. Drill a hole in it, be done with it. Wouldn't you like to ask the engineer that designed this, what were you thinking creating a metal pan that goes over a plastic gas tank, going through a winter up north with salt water, and then wondering how long do you think that's going to take to eat this metal pan out just sitting there with the salt in? How you would flush it all out realistically, it'd be really hard. On the inside I'm using Seal. It's a rust converting metal primer. It's kind of like a water-based thing. I've brushed it all on here. I'm going to let it dry. Well, on the inside, it really doesn't even matter what it looks like. I'm just trying to stop the rust and coat it before I put it back on there. And will it never rust again? I don't know, but it'll probably last longer than I have the Jeep. All right, I said I wouldn't do any frame cleaning videos, and I'm not really, but I'm just showing you this. It's like there's some surface rust on here, and I think most of it is because there's just no paint. I think the salt water and just not any maintenance has caused it to come off. So I'm using the Seal rust converter, painting it on there, and then we can top coat it. But I think it's going to look really good once we're done. Whoa! So I've brushed it all on there. The conversion has started. It's starting to turn a little bit blue. Eventually it'll turn black. It takes about 24 hours for it to do its conversion. So I thought we would just let it sit and see how it looks in about 24 hours. Alright, I got the Seal on this nasty skid plate painted on there, and it's starting to dry up, starting to convert the rust. You can see where it's like light purple. We'll let it sit out here and let her keep baking, and then it should be ready to paint here in a little while. Well, one of the things you don't notice if you've been watching the video today is that there's no Maverick in the driveway. The cactus gray one that I bought, I decided to sell it. I checked with all my friends, and no one wanted to pay what I had in it, so I went ahead and went online and started searching the online sales deal. So I went to Carvana, went to Vroom, went to a couple other places. Carvana ended up being the highest at first. It was $36,800 is what they offered to pay for it, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So I agreed to sell it to them, and then they said we need the registration. I said, well, the truck's brand new. I don't have the registration for it. And they said, well, as soon as you get that, let us know. This offer is good for whoever the heck knows how long. I said, okay. So I checked with one more place, and that was Carmigo, and that's really kind of a dealer auction type thing, which was kind of trippy. But they said they would get $36,000 for the truck, so I just kind of ignored them. Well, then I get a phone call from the girl that works there down in Mississippi, and she said, well, Mr. Sutton, we'll be happy to auction your truck off, but we can put a reserve on it so you won't lose money. What reserve would you want to put on it? And I said, well, $36,800 is what Carvana offered, so we'll just say $37,000. And she says, okay. So 2 days later goes by, it's up on auction. Dealers start bidding on it. Ended up getting $38,900 for the truck, which was like, man, that was better than Carvana. So I was really pleased with them. They send you the money when the wrecker comes and picks up your truck. It was like the next day. They went ahead and drafted money into my bank account, so I got like a $10,000 draft for the truck because of what I had put down on it. So the Maverick's gone. Hopefully my new one will be built this next coming week. It's supposed to be the week of May 16th. I haven't got an email saying it's going to be delayed again. I got one email that did that. So Hopefully the white one will be built. I don't have room in the driveway anyway for 2 Mavericks. So anyway, that's what happened to the Maverick. I was happy to sell it. I hope somebody enjoys it. They are absolutely great trucks, and when I get the white one, I'll let you know. Let's get back to this rust prevention crap. Man, this Coral Seal does a nice job. This is before it's top coated with any paint at all. Creates a nice primed surface with the rust turned into metal again. That's awesome. This looks 1,000 times better. I'm waiting for the Coral Seal to cure out. It takes 24 hours. Then I'll be top coating it with some paint, rust resistant paint. Look at that super duper repair. Okay, that's going to be about it for today. I'm really super happy with the Coral Seal, how it converts the rust into metal. I'm really happy the way the frame is looking. I'm not that happy about Redline Goods, the people that make the steering wheel cover, because I've been trying to get them to tell me how the heck to install that thing for the past 3 days, and I haven't got a response back yet. So I still have no steering wheel finished for it. That's going to be on the to-do list, but this is about ready to top coat with some rust resistant paint. I'm super happy about that. Keep watching. I think we'll have this back on, get the body lift finished up from Rough Country, and then maybe I'll have my other shop. Who knows? I'm hoping it's pretty soon. But I appreciate you watching, being a subscriber. Any questions, comments, post them below. Hey, I'm further along than I was last week. Keep watching. I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.